This is SMDC.
You've had a long Army career, 35 years, correct?
Just say it long. It's a long gap. You got to bring that O out a long way. It's a long time.
A long, long time.
But other than that, I'm still me. When I go home, I'm still Arvell to everybody that's at home. And I think the Army has a lot of benefits that people don't get exposed to.
Hey everyone, my name is Yumi Davis. Welcome to The High Ground, U.S. Army Space and Missile Defense Command's podcast. Today for our episode, we have Command Sergeant Major Finis A. Dodson, Command Sergeant Major for USA SMDC. He has over 35 years of experience in the Army with 15 assignments all over the world and 19 awards and decorations. Thank you for coming to this interview. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for the invitation.
Right, so my first question is, did you always want to join the Army?
The answer, honestly, is no. That was not my come up in life, want to be a soldier. But here I am, and I wouldn't change a thing.
What made you want to go into the Army then?
Really what got me on the path was my uncle was in Vietnam, served to a Purple Heart, everything he did, he talked about it. And you think about kind of in the military and what they did and what the experience was, it wasn't a good experience. So when I went to school, looking at some of the benefits the military brought in, as I started experiencing the military culture outside of Vietnam, I saw the positive benefits of it. That's kind of what opened my eyes to the military.
What were those positive benefits?
Experiences were one of the biggest things that drew me to the military. I look at the military, before I came in, I did, education was one of the biggest things my family was big on. My mom, being a school teacher, as you probably can imagine, education was a thing that was kind of nonstop. You will, you can, you must, summertime courses, classes, things like that. And so I did computer programming. I just went to school for that. So I was looking at how do I get experiences in that area. So business, you look at how to get a head start is you want experience. So I did my research, asking people and so forth, and I saw Army computer programming, how they advertised it, and I looked at it, and of course my mom and dad, their experience really was with Vietnam with my uncle. So I got them to allow me to join the military, and for computer programming was the experience I wanted to get. And that's kind of how it got me to where I am now, to be sitting here with you talking about was the military my first option, and here I am, and it's 1987. That's a long time ago. To now. When were you born?
I was born 1998.
See? Oh my God. Yes.
What was it like when you first joined the Army?
Eye-opening. Going in the basic training, they made me shave first of all. I didn't have any hair on my face. I had to shave. The yelling, now that was a big change there. The drill sergeants coming in, yelling at me. Now, I got yelled and I did something wrong, but not like that. So that was, but the biggest of it was just that, but I'm used to discipline and standards like that. So it wasn't really like some people might say it was like a big culture shock. It wasn't like that. Now, don't say it, I'm not taking it the wrong way, that it was like I had this big, like I loved the experience, but I did enough push-ups, low crawls, all the other things they made us do to get us conditioned. It was a great experience. So I wouldn't change a thing about it. It made me who I am. So it's been a great journey.
And then your MOS was computer programming then?
Well, that's another story. So I joined with a description of the job for air defense. The description said computer programming. So I joined that, being an air defender. But the way they wrote it, the way they got me in, it was not. It was really programming in the system. It wasn't a computer program. It wasn't COBOL. It wasn't Pascal. But that was programmed in the Army wording, how they understood it. But needless to say, I was programming, but I was not programming in the sense of what I expected, but it worked out.
How did you feel knowing that the MOS was different from what you expected?
It worked out for the better because I made it work for me. I didn't get a negative attitude. I didn't look at it as that the Army said this, but they gave me this. I made the positive of it. I did the right thing based on the things that I came in the Army with. I never swayed away from those things. That's what made me to who I am, and that's what has got me to where I am now. Those fundamentals, those characteristics of being Fondest Dodson, the one that came in from Olive Branch, that has carried me through my military career, which is what I stand on now. Is who I am, regardless of the end of the day, is what I came in on. That has not changed. Lost my hair. I'm shrinking now. But other than that, I'm still me. When I go home, I'm still Arvell to everybody that's at home. And I think the Army has a lot of benefits that people don't get exposed to, especially now with the lack of people understanding what the military really does. With 23% can even meet the qualifications. We're really in a time right now where I think they're missing a lot of great opportunities if they use it the right way. And I say use affectionately in the point of you do the right thing and support it, not about self, but about selfless service. It goes a long way in your life. A lot of time I tell people the military has everything inside of it. I mean, you got people from astronauts, you got people who can paint, people who can do electrical work, people who can do carpentry, the people who can do computer programming, people who can do, you name it, it's all in the military.
I know you talked about a lot of opportunities that the Army has, and I was kind of wondering, because you've had a long Army career, 35 years, correct?
Just say it long. It's a long gap. You got to bring that O out a long way. It's a long time.
A long time.
I'll sip that.
Yeah. What are some of the lessons that you carry with you as you go out of the Army that you got in it?
My wife asked me a question, what did the Army give me? And I couldn't answer her. And it shocked her. And it shocked myself, to be quite frank. And she said, did I stump you? I said, you did. I came down to the answer I really gave her, and in what the military gave me was opportunity, was selfless service and duty. Those are two values of the Army that I have, that now that I came in the military, that I got to maximize. As a soldier, I brought those to the Army. I did. You know, everybody can't say the story I have, but from my story, I brought those with me, and that's what makes me who I am. But those duty and selfless service, that's what I would take with me, because when I go out, that selfless service, I want to take that out to the community and everybody out there and say, we need that selfless service in the military and even outside in the community. We need more selfless service. And then you look at duty, we need people to serve, and put those two together. Everything else, if they got the foundation with all those values, we can't help but to go in the right direction. That's what I would take with me, is selfless service and duty, to make sure people outside understand why that's so critical. And especially now in a time where only 23% can even meet the qualification, we need people to have selfless service and duty to our nation, as well as to other things like teaching. So everything we do in life starts with a teacher. People forget that.
You talked a little bit about everyone needs a teacher in life. Who is a mentor from the Army that you always remember?
That is a loaded question. I would say I'm going to start with my core, the NCO. One of the most top influential NCOs that I've had in my career, Sergeant Major Rowland. He taught, coached, and mentored me in that sense. Man, he is, those who know Sergeant Major Rowland, he's a standard bearer. Physically, professionally, family-wise, he's the real deal. I never seen him doing things that I wouldn't want to emulate. And I mean, everybody who grew up under him, like me, Sergeant Major Wiggins, all of us, we have grown up under him. And that's why it's kind of hard because he is one. I mean, me being here, and because him and General Arnie, I never get them two. They have, I mean, yeah, I get kind of emotional talk about them two. Those two have really played a really key role to getting to where I am right now. In the other NCO, I had to go way, way back. Staff Sergeant Michael J. Tyner. He was my squad leader, NCO. He made me, when I was a young E4, he made me learn the military isms. That means my mustache, and I did have a mustache. He made me learn how to wear it right. I mean, he made me dry shave one time. You know, nowadays he'd be like, oh, no. And you know, that's when, back in the day when we was in 32nd ATCOM in Germany, and all those things we did, he taught me what an NCO should be, starting my path. You know, I made E5, I mean, it's been sergeant, and those are things that those two individuals, and I think about those two individuals about the same height too. They all taller than me. Everybody taller than me, I think. But those two showed me in my key stages about being an E4 to NCO, what right should be like. Yes, and then on the officer side, you know, General Carver, hands down. Me and him, I love to tell this accurate story. He let me, you know, his thing was Maslow hierarchy. You know, when I first came into position, my first GO position, number position was with him. You would talk to him, ask him a story about me using his car. If that don't make you understand what kind of leader he is, you got to ask him the story. Ask him about me using his Acura.
Wait, didn't you crash it?
Well, I didn't. The neighbor across the street bagged into it, and I called him. Long story short, and the first thing he said, I called him. I was like, I was calling like somebody had died. Like, Mo. He said, "Okay, are you okay?" I said, "Right." He said, "It's okay. I'll be right up." I mean, I was just like, "What the heck? I guess this car's got hit." He's like, "Okay, you okay?" And that's a leader like that who you look at, you know, he's just him. Me and him, you know, we can go and handle business, and that's what he's very critical in my life. And then for as I got through these two, I got to mail these two, General McIntyre and General Sanchez. These two have been very critical in my life for the family as well as development. So these are two critical leaders that I have to say I really appreciate them. And then, and I say warrant officer, Chief Waymire, Chief Talbot. Those two have been very critical in my development, and what they've done over time. Been very critical. I can't leave these two out. Sammy the Bacon and Sammy the Fox. Those two have been, I gotta say those two names. Those two individuals have really been a key player in my life. Cause Sammy the Bacon, I had my hair like him almost, run the flight vest. Sammy the Fox, oh my God, Sammy the Fox, he taught me a lot. Management, personnel, and just in life. So,
as we kind of look back on your career, I just kind of wanted to ask, what's one of your fondest memories of being in the Army?
Just one? Just one. I think the one memory now I think is when my mom, we did the ceremony here in 2019. When my mom got to see my whole military career, that was her first ceremony. She got to actually see me in a military ceremony, in a promotion or any kind of change of responsibility, anything like that. And because one, I'm always overseas or somewhere like that. She never see me doing a ceremony like that. She see me do stuff, but she never seen me do a ceremony where somebody talk. And she's like, I just didn't know. And it was for my mom to see that. My dad, he didn't get to, he passed away. My mom get to see that. It meant the world to her. She still talks about that. She has a poster in our house, posted on top of one of her tables in there. But that was the moment, and I think about that is my mom could actually see me, what all the things that they brought me up on, the standards and the foundation they built upon, what it has made. All those whippings, those stern leadership, and everything has. What it has developed and turned out to be, they can just hear my dad and say, everything they did, it was worth it.
And now we're on to your retirement. It's coming up.
Yes.
How do you feel?
I am excited. I am happy. I don't have any apprehensions. I don't have any regrets because I left everything on the table. I've left everything. 35 years, and somebody made a comment to me about, at some point in time, you got to start thinking about self. But I'm still thinking about the military, but it's a point that when I do retire, I'm retiring. And I want to be able to enjoy what I've done. And over the 35 years in military, now, I've done the right thing because my parents told me to prepare. And I prepared. And so I'm not going out like I got to. I'm worried or stressed. I'm going out happy. I don't have to worry about running to somebody or doing what. I'm going out. My wife's school teacher, my daughter, my oldest daughter. I just want to enjoy life. I'm still going to work. I'm still going to do some things because that's in my nature. Because country boy, you can't just stay still. So that whole situation, people say people sit still, they have issues. Well, that's not me. I'm always energetic, as you already know that. But I left everything on the table.
What do you plan to do after retirement?
35 years is a lot of things you can think about. And you think about 35 years, and people always say, what you going to do next? And at 35 years, it's pretty much whatever the man upstairs says, and I'm going to go with it. But it's what I want to. But at 35 years, it's family. It's about the family. It's a location, family, and then money. That's where I look at it. And it's really, for me, is I've enjoyed everything. Came on this time in life. I've given my blip of the radar. I've had fun. I've enjoyed. And I've done my part. Hopefully I've helped somebody. And at 35 years, I'm going to fade into the sunset. And I'm happy. I'm not sad in any stretch of imagination. I've done my part, and hopefully, and I'm just gonna go ahead and somebody to follow will take it to the next height because there's always somebody next up. And so when people get caught up in that's about them, is then you're in a bad state. I've done my time, I've done my part, I've had fun, I've enjoyed it. Selfless service and duty. I got those two things I hope I've impacted, and I'm going to go and enjoy my family and spoil my granddaughter and bug my daughters and bug my wife on my list of things to do, and whatever life brings, we'll do it. I'm gonna drive my little S10 into the sunset.
I guess as a kind of closing out, what does it mean to you to be a soldier?
I love it. I wouldn't change it. What I've done for the last 35 plus years, it's been a great experience. I love what I do and have done, and I'm continuing to be a soldier for life. But at the end of the day, everything I've done as active duty, I've given it all. And when I transition out to be a soldier for life, I'm still gonna give out. I'm gonna still talk about it. Like I told my wife, I just want a simple hat. It's gonna be bland, retired. I don't want a lot of stuff on it, so I'm here to have a conversation. I can start talking to them about when they say thank you for your service. Oh, you in the Army? Nah, I got a point to reach in like you as a PAO and start telling about the positive things about the Army. And I hate to say this, not just about the Army. It's bigger than the Army. It's the military. And I tell people, I don't care you come in the Army, Air Force, Navy, Marine, Coast Guard, or Space Force, just come in. I just want them to join. I'm not going to be a hoarder. I just want them to join the military because we need that, all the service to survive. And so I'm going to tell my story. That's my hook. It's my hat. They're going to look at it I'm gonna get them, and I'm gonna have to commission myself for the military. Yes.
Thank you so much for the interview today, Sergeant Major Dodson. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for the opportunity to come and speak. It's been fun. I appreciate you.
Do you have any last words?
You asked me if I have last words? Talking to me?
Yes.
Me? Do
Yeah.
I have last words? I would say that to everybody out there who listens here, I'll say thank you for what you've done and what you continue to do for our nation. And it's about the people. And if I could ever do anything for anybody out there, please let me know. You always know the short, bald-headed country boy from Mississippi appreciates you. And without a doubt, I couldn't have done anything without any of you out there. And know I'm a product of you. And I have been blessed to be able to serve you in whatever capacity, position where you've been and what you continue to do. But Godspeed and take care and stay safe. And thank y'all for the opportunity to do this interview.
Thank you again.
I appreciate y'all
so
PH.
much. Thanks for listening to the High Ground USA SMDC's podcast. For more, check out The High Ground on iTunes, Divots, and Spotify.